Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Thai Expat Daily Show. I'm your host, Kieran Mack, and we're just going to jump into today's topic, which is basically the Phuket Sandbox and what we know now and what we think is going to happen in the next week or two. As many people know, the Phuket Sandbox is going to be the official opening or reopening of Thailand after the year and a half lockdown, which has seen many businesses and people's livelihoods decimated because of this COVID-19 pandemic. Phuket will be the first destination in Thailand to reopen to vaccinated foreign travellers without quarantine requirements. Travellers will be restricted to travel in Phuket for 7 days and will then be allowed to visit other destinations in Thailand. So basically, who will be able to apply will be vaccinated foreign travellers. And by vaccinated, meaning that you've had either 2 doses of a specific vaccine or one of the Johnson & Johnson. Unvaccinated children under 12 years of age and unvaccinated children between 12 and 18 year old. The children between 12 and 18 will be required to have a rapid antigen test on arrival. And we're going to jump into all the various aspects of this during the course of this podcast. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is pre-arrival and what you need to do in your country of origin. So first and foremost, you're going to need to get a certificate of entry from your local Thai embassy or consulate, of course, depending where you are. To get that certificate of entry, you're going to need to be able to prove, number one, that you've been vaccinated fully for more than 14 days, but no longer than 1 year. So the 1 year part probably won't come into it. I doubt there's anybody being vaccinated more than 1 year. That it's an authorized vaccine by your country, meaning your country has approved that vaccine. So it could be Sinovac, it could be AstraZeneca, it could be Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, whatever is the authorized vaccines that have been approved in your country. You also need to go and have travel insurance, and we'll go through that travel insurance in a later section of this show. You're also going to have your hotel accommodation. I'm going to say 100% booked and paid for in advance, and it must be for 7 nights in Phuket. Regardless if you live in Phuket, you have a property already, you will be asked to stay in a SHA Plus authorized hotel for 7 nights. You will have to show your ticket, your flight ticket, and those things will be all needed for you to get your certificate of entry. Now, I presume they're going to use the certificate of entry website where you just upload your documents and it'll send it to the closest embassy that is mandated for you. So there will be the main things that you're going to need. Now, another thing that has been brought up is about these direct flights to Phuket. Basically, what it means by direct flight is the flight has to come from outside of Thailand directly to Phuket. It cannot at this stage stop in Bangkok or any other airport. So, for example, if you're living in Spain and you want to come to Phuket, you can do that. You might be able to get an Emirates flight from, let's say, Barcelona to Dubai and then Dubai to Phuket. So as long as that flight is direct, the last stage. For example, I'm from Ireland, so I could fly Dublin, Dubai, Phuket. That is perfectly fine. So it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, you can get a flight as long as it comes directly into Phuket and doesn't stop within Thailand. That will be sufficient. On arrival then, you're obviously going to have all your paperwork with you, presented at immigration control. You'll need to have patience because they're probably going to have to go through that stuff. You're going to need to download the Thailand Plus application and activate it. Okay, and that is going to be very, very important. They're going to use that to track and make sure that if there is an outbreak that somebody contracts COVID, they can figure out where they've been, who they've been in contact with, and they can notify people so that testing and tracing can happen. Those are the first 2 main parts of the whole coming to Phuket that you need to know about. Now, on day 5, you can do a RT-PCR test. And if you are negative, you can spend a day trip at a designated destination, which will be either Phi Phi Island, Koh Yao Island, or Panya Bay. If you test negative, that is very unfortunate for you, and you'll be required to spend 14 nights in quarantine in a hospital. So I wouldn't want to go that route. So basically, the caveat after 5 days is that you can go and you can spend some time on the islands and do a day trip. And obviously that day trip will have to be with an SHA certified tour agent as well. Now, what many people have asked me is, what is an SHA hotel and what is SHA plus? So SHA is a certification that the Tourist Authority of Thailand brought in last year to certify that hotels are up to a certain standard in relation to their hygiene and their safety protocols within the hotel. Each hotel would do a self-assessment, and then once they passed their self-assessment, they would then receive their certificate. SHA Plus means that 70% of the workforce have been vaccinated fully for COVID-19. So as you can see in Phuket right now, there's 419 hotels that are SHA approved. Now, let me explain that all these hotels will apply for SHA Plus. So they will all have SH Plus certification, I'd say, in the next couple of weeks. SHA Plus, by the way, is only specific to Phuket right now. It's a pilot project that they're doing. So it doesn't apply to anywhere else in the country. And another hotel in another part of the country can't get this certification right now. So as you see, we have 419 hotels that will be SHA Plus certified. That's a lot of hotels. Restaurants, 138, tour and travel services, 148, sport and recreation, 26, transportation, 35. Now, the hotel is obviously the most important one, 419. That's a lot of hotels. And don't forget, once hotels know that they're definitely reopening, this number will grow for sure. I mean, we're talking of thousands of hotels in Phuket. So just think that this number will get a lot bigger, and they all range in price from, 500 baht a night to whatever amount of money you want to spend in a hotel. So there's a budget for all. The restaurants and all that doesn't really matter. People like to eat street food when they come to Thailand. It's not a big deal. You don't have to eat at an SHA registered restaurant. That all that kind of stuff. But the only thing that you do have to do is you have to stay for 7 nights, or if it's less than 7 nights, at an SHA Plus certified hotel. And that is one of the stipulations, regardless if you own a condo in Phuket, regardless if your home is here in Phuket, you still have to stay. They are the rules as of right now. Now, another question I've seen a lot is, what Phuket direct flights are there and what's the plan? Well, currently we have Thai Airways will be doing a Frankfurt, London, Copenhagen, Paris, Seoul, Singapore, and New Delhi or Tokyo. I don't think New Delhi will be happening right now, but probably Tokyo possibly. That will also be depending, of course, on Tokyo and Japan. So the plan will be these will be direct flights from there to Phuket and then Phuket back. Again, for example, if you live in Dublin and there's no flight for you to get that far, you can take a flight to London, and then you can take that London to Phuket direct flight. Again, Dubai Phuket with Emirates, they're going to have 4 flights a week. I take that back. They're going to have a flight daily according to this schedule, so we'll see what happens there. Okay, El Al, Tel Aviv Phuket. We're going to have Qatar, who look like they're going to start doing Stockholm, Oslo, Paris, Warsaw, and Vienna flights. Okay, with a stop off in Doha along the way, and that will be starting for 1 flight a week. So it's not a great schedule, to be frank and honest with you, but it will definitely get people from Nordic countries coming back to Phuket. That's a great thing, and I think a lot of Nordic countries want to travel as well. We'll have Singapore Airlines who will be doing Singapore Phuket flights, which is a good thing from the point of view of people maybe in New Zealand or Australia who would like to leave and can get permission from their country to leave and then fly back and then do a stop off in Phuket along the way, or a stop off in Singapore and then take that direct flight. And then apparently we have a British Airways flight, but that's operated by Qatar Airways. So it's London, Phuket. And that will be also stopping off, I believe. I don't believe it. No, it's London, Doha, Phuket. So it's not a direct flight, but it is. As long as it doesn't stop off in any other city in Thailand, it's considered a direct flight. So people from the States can come, people from anywhere around the world, as long as you're within the low to medium COVID outbreak areas. So places like India will not be on this list right now, and they won't be able to participate in the July 1st opening. But when their numbers come down and they start to get more of a handle on COVID, definitely countries like that will definitely be able to make this the trip they want. So next on the screen, you can see the draft roadmap to reopen cities to vaccinated travelers. So as you can see, Phuket is the first one that's going to start on or around July 1st. Then you can see the next place is Krabi. It has a proposed sealed route, but you will have to quarantine for 7 nights. The same with Samui, Chonburi, which includes Pattaya, and Chiang Mai. Bangkok is not on that currently. So if you see in the screen, it basically tells you that there's going to be sealed routes within this, and there is quarantine if you wish to go directly to those provinces. Phang, which incorporates Khao Lak, will have no quarantine apparently from August 1st. Now, Phang and Phuket are very close to each other, and most travelers use Phuket Airport to access Phang. So the plan will be basically is once Phuket is up and running, that there will be no quarantine required for international guests. I would say that it'll be kind of people who stayed 7 nights already in Phuket who wish to take another week maybe in Phang, in Khao Lak, and relax up there. They will not be requiring quarantine. The overall plan is there will be no quarantine from October 1st onwards, okay, using the Phuket model. And then the entire country will reopen on January with no quarantine for any parts of it. Now, whether or not that's just for vaccinated guests, we still don't know. We'll be waiting on that. Now, finally, something that I had brought up was health insurance or travel insurance. Now, a lot of people have asked me, well, I have a policy in Switzerland or the UK, and I use this all the time. Will this cover me? It all depends on your policy. Your policy must clearly state that it covers COVID-19 infection, full hospitalization, and quarantine. It must include COVID-19 cover. It also must have a minimum coverage of up to 100,000 US dollars or 3.5 million Thai baht. Now, these are very important things because you need to have this insurance to be able to get your certificate of entry for your application to come. This company that I have on the screen, I'm no way affiliated with them, but I just wanted to give you an example of the pricing. Okay, so I have seen no company that does anything for less than 1 month, so you're probably going to have to buy a 1-month plan. And if you see on this, maybe you can, but 30 days for the basic plan to cover you will cost you 3,100 baht. That's about £100, maybe 85 euro, just less than $100, I think, something around that for the basic plan. And obviously there's more expensive plans that can go up to, for the basic plan for 30 days, up to 6,100 Thai baht. So there's definitely, and that's with a Thai insurance company who definitely will cover you within the country. And that is important. You need to make sure that your insurance is covering you in the event that you get COVID, because a lot of them don't. And you also need to make sure that your insurance, if you buy it from outside of Thailand, from your home country, will actually cover you in the event that, for example, your country turns, you're on an amber list and you suddenly go to a red list, that you're covered. That they don't say, well, now you're in a red list and we automatically don't cover you. So you need to check your insurance and read the fine print, because they are very good at making things very not clear. So please read your insurance policy thoroughly before you buy it. So that's basically my presentation for you today on the Phuket Sandbox model that hopefully will get approval next week from the government and then come into effect around the beginning of July. Now, may I stress to people, because I see a lot of people on Facebook buying tickets already, booking hotels, and spending all this money without knowing exactly the details of what's to come. What I'm presenting to you right now is what we think is going to happen. Okay, based on information that has been leaked by the government and what would be common sense for the government here to do. But please don't start spending your money on flights and on hotels until everything is fully released and you know exactly 100% what the entry requirements are going to be, what you can and can't do when you get here. Because airlines love taking your money, but they really hate giving it back to you. And the same with hotels and all kinds of other businesses. So just be careful before you buy anything. Wait a couple more weeks, and once the full details are released and we can confirm everything 100%, then go ahead and buy your flights and book your hotel and come and enjoy a nice holiday here in Phuket. Okay, so thanks for tuning in today. We'll be back tomorrow with our regular daily show, and have a great day, have a great Sunday, and take care.